Hey everyone, so in today's video I will show you 13 different types of furniture that you can make with basic shapes and structurals if you're a starter or if you're looking for something new. Now, I'm not the greatest with basic shapes, I must say so myself, but these are a few things that I have learned by copying from friends or just playing around with basic shapes myself. Now, I'm not going to include how to make slanted roofs with basic shapes and structurals in this video because I did a video a short while ago about that and it feels kind of reluctant to add that in this video as well. So anyways, starting with number one. Number one is a very easy one that you can do, that everyone can do basically. Now, before we go on, I must say that for most of these you do need advanced placement, but if you are working with basic shapes, most of the times you do need advanced placement anyway, which kind of sucks for people who don't have it. And yeah. So number one is custom curtains. That one's very easy to do actually. So all you have to do for that is go into the structurals and take out the semi-transparent beam right here. And then what you want to do is just from the top to the bottom, you drag out beams. And as you can see, they have the wood material right now. We're going to change that to sand. And I like to use like a white color for it, just so it looks a little bit more realistic. And then from wherever, it doesn't really matter if it's like slanted or not, or like straight or not as well. From whichever angle you choose, you can just drag down and make your own custom curtain like that. It's not like it's the hardest thing ever to create, so we're just having some fun here. And then on the side, if you want, you can add these round pillars, add them as close to your custom curtain as possible. I kind of made the curtain very wide. Same thing, sand material, but we're gonna go for a darker color this time. And just move in your pillars like this. Same thing over here. That is quite the curtain for such a small window actually. And there you go, you have made a custom curtain like that. Now that is one of the easiest ones that I will show in this. It will get a little bit harder at times. Number two is one that I love to do in my house. When I build a bathroom now, I do this every single time just because it turns out so nicely and you can do so much with it. And that is a custom sink table. Again, very easy to make. A little bit harder than the curtains, but what isn't harder than those curtains? That was just like drawing lines a little bit. Anyways, continuing, we take a basic shape, place it down on placement grid large for now, and then we take, in plumbing, we go to this modern bowl sink or bowl sink bowl. You place your cube right next to that sink once you've placed it down, and then you drag down the cube a little bit so that it's just about under the height of your sink. On top of that, you add another cube and drag that down all the way, drag it out to see if it goes through your sink or not. It does come through, so that means we will have to lower the basic shape that we put first again a little bit. So right now the height of this cube is 2.25. Again, adding my other shape on that, which I drag down all the way. And as you can see, you can now see the sinkhole, and that is where we want to get. Now, depending on how much space you want to use, you can actually drag out your cube quite a bit. So it goes against the wall. That's like a logical thing, I think. Drag that out as far as you want. You can even make it longer if you wish by adding another cube on top of that. Then you take the other cube, place it in the middle of that as well, but I'm gonna make it jump out just a little bit. Make sure it doesn't jump out too much, but something like this could actually work. And then I drag that out all the way as well. I'm gonna move it back a little bit. I just want a slight overhang, and make sure that it doesn't come through the back of your wall if you have a room against it. And then you take that sink and you drag across the wall like that, depending on where you want your sink to go. And I want another sink right next to that. And it's gonna be looking something like that. Then to decorate it, you can add a mirror on top, resize that. And then after decorating it just a little bit, this is what you could end up with. Of course, you can resize the basic shape under here to make like little shelves under it and stuff like that. We're not gonna go as detailed this time, but this allows you to actually put like toothbrushes and everything bathroom related, for example your perfumes and stuff like that. You can all put that on the sink now, and I think that adds for a very clean looking sink setup. And like right next to that, if you want to have your toilet, I mean, it's a really clean setup. If you want, you can even put toilet paper on the side of this so that it looks more like a realistic bathroom. Overall, I just love that hack. It's so simple to do and it looks amazing. Then number three, super easy to make as well, and that is wall planks. So if you just place a wall, like so, for example, and you want to add wall planks to that, all you have to do is go into the structural items, go to the wooden plank, take out the horizontal plank. It's best to have your placement grid on at least medium for that. And then you drag out your planks like that. You can also resize them if you wish to do so. So if you want to make a longer plank, it does not come through the wall. This could be amazing for desks as well. If you make it about the height of the table, for example here, you can easily make a custom desk like that. Adding a high chair to this and a computer, as you can see, it could look really clean for an office. One thing to keep in mind though is they can come through the wall. This one didn't do it, but sometimes you get like little lines coming through your walls. So I just want to make sure that you know about that. Sometimes you need to double check everything that you place. And so there you have a very, very long desk, very easy to make as well. And if you want, you could like put these in between bookshelves or in kitchens, wherever you want. It's very, very easy to make. You just clone it or well, place it from structurals and make it as long as you want, make it as big as you want. It will never go through the back wall if you resize it. So that's very important to mention as well. So if you want to make an easy custom desk or just wall planks, you can go ahead and do it like that. A lot of people know that already, but I just wanted to make sure that you know how it's done. Then number 4 is custom tables. Now there are 2 ways to do that. So if you want just a simple table that you want to make custom, the easiest way to do it is to keep the table that you place. So you place the cheapest table that you can find, and then whatever you want to do on top of that. For example, if you want to make, I can't think of an example now. Let's say on top of that, you want to create like a little line that goes through the table like this, and then next to that, you want to create another shape, or you want to have a see-through table. Well, that one I will explain later, but this is like the easiest way to do it basically. And then another basic shape for the table leg. If you want to custom make those, just make sure it's bigger on both sides than the table leg that you have, and then just copying that over to all of the sides of the table, or the legs of the table at least. And then for example, this is just an example. Add something like this, paint the bottom side in the same wood, the legs in the same wood. That is like the easiest way to make a custom table. And in the middle, you can add a different material so that it's like kind of like a placemat, but it's inside the table, so you can like rarely or barely see it. That is a very easy example of a custom table. Now keep in mind that you cannot move these. So once they're done, they're done. You cannot move these. If I pick this up, I will only pick up what's on the table, but not the table legs. Now, this is very easy to move, of course. Another way to make a custom table, and this is, for example, if you want the middle part to be glass, or you want a table where 6 people can sit at. I'm actually gonna go for both. I want a table where 6 people can sit at, and it also has to have glass in the middle. Again, you take one of the cheapest tables that you can find, so I'm looking for that one specific simplicity table. There we go. That sits 2 people. I want to sit 6 people, so I'm gonna move one inside of here as well. You take a carpet and we basically place these tables so that we can have an idea of the height of the table that we're going to use. So anyways, taking carpet, making it about the size as the table I want, and on top of that I can add my basic shape. Right now I'm just lining everything up. This was going to be transparent, so we're going to have to add a transparent basic shape. I'm just going to drag it out all the way to where I can't anymore. Not going to worry too much about the extra space that we have left over. Same thing over here. And that is the first step to our table. What we can do then, I'm actually going to make this a little bit taller. So the height right now is 0.4. Same thing over here. I'm not going to make the middle part taller. I'm going to keep that like a little bit deeper than the rest of the table. And then you want to remove the carpet and then remove the tables underneath. Now you have a flying plank. Seems logical, right? And then you can do the legs however you want them. So for example, if I want a leg over here, I'm actually going to place it on medium placement so that I know a little bit of where my leg is supposed to go. I'm going to place one leg here, one leg here. Again, this is not movable, so once it's done, it's done. Adding some chairs to that, we're starting in the middle, and then we just place a chair next to it and a chair next to this. Same thing over here, starting in the middle, placing a chair next to this and placing a chair next to this. And there you go. You have a custom see-through table that you have just created. It wasn't too hard. I never wanted to do this because I thought it would be super hard, but it's really not hard to do. The only problem with it is that you cannot move it once it's there. Oh my god, guys. I failed so miserably. I went for a toilet break, number 1, and I stopped recording and I came back and I just started talking again, building stuff, and as you can see, I forgot to record half of what I've done here, so I'm just gonna show you what I did. Oh my goodness, I'm so mad at myself for this, but I am gonna show you what I did. So same method as with the custom table, I put a carpet on a desk to have the height of the desk, and then I put a basic shape on top of that, and then I played around with some more basic shapes to create a little height elevation on my desk. I mean, these are all just basic shapes. This basic shape is balancing on this tiny basic shape right here. Just wanted to create a little elevation, so I did the same thing as I did with the table to create this custom desk. I am so mad at myself, my goodness. Then what I did here, and that was my next point, what I did here was create just a cylinder. I sized it all the way down and sized it up a little bit, and then on top of that, so I put it on placement grid large to make sure it's even, and then on top of that I put the disc. So same thing, vertical cylinder, you drag that all the way down and you drag it right here. You can make just living room tables like that. I think that's really amazing, and you can actually move them around, so that's fun to have as well. And I think they work out so well for living rooms. You can make as many as you want connected to each other, so yeah, I definitely love playing around with those. The next thing I showed was how to create custom bushes. I did warn though, copying this, it's $9,000 just for one part of a fence. But what I did was I showed you the normal fence that we have. I created a beveled cube, and then I added vines to it. So I resized them. I put my placement on variable place height, and then I just copied and pasted the vines. Just very easy to make. And then what you want to do to create some depth to that is resize some of them, make them a little bit wider, make some a little bit smaller, just to not have the same layout throughout. But as you can see, that is a really expensive thing to do, and only do it if you really want to make custom bushes, because this is going to be way cheaper than copying this over for $10,000 each block. But it is clonable, as you can see, and you just place it inside of each other a little bit. But making one wall out of that, you will easily lose 100,000 on that. Oh, and I forgot to mention, because I already recorded it, so it's kind of like a little bit reductant to me, but if you want to add like something under your desk but really easily, you can just go into the tables, take for example a basic TV stand and put it under your desk, and then you have like a little desk table that you can use. I think that's a lot of fun as well. And then I showed you how to make these roof trims, very easy to make, so I'm just gonna do them once again. So same thing, placement grid on medium is very important for this, because you will have to connect some dots right here. Just go into the corner, go to the other corner, connect that, then you want to make sure you're in the middle. We're going to have to go through the middle, and you want to make sure you are inside the beam that you have just placed and go all the way up. Again, same thing, you want to make sure that the little ball goes into the beam that you have just created. It did not do that. Now it did. And you want to go to the corner of the roof right here. Same thing on the other side. You want to make sure your little ball goes into the beam that you have just created and drag it upwards like that. And there you made your own little roof trim. Same thing over here, going to the edge. Now I'm going to place my placement grid on small, because it's really hard at the corner over here to create a connection, but it does work. Holding shift so that I can continue building from where I stopped, clicking and then going down, and that is a nice little roof trim for you. Very, very easy to make, but it does add a lot of depth to your house. Then something else that's super easy to do, a lot of players know about this already, some players do not know about this already. If you take this dot garland in decorations, drag it down, and then before you start copying, I would really strongly suggest before you start copying, you paint that in like natural looking color, so green, and then this material or this material, and then the white string in green as well. And this, if you copy this over and you put a bunch of them on top of each other, it allows you to create vines. Now I do have a build, I will actually show you, I do have a build where I created vines with the dot garland string. So as you can see right here, I had a little bridge and I added some of these vines to it. I think it turned out really nice. This is what you can do with them. Very easy to make. It's still a custom type of thing, but it's super easy to do, and it just, I don't know, it's fun to play around with as well. I don't know, it adds a bit of realism to your builds. Then we are at number 10 already. It may seem like I skipped some because I wasn't recording, but I quickly went over a few of those because I was upset. Anyways, number 10 is a super easy one to do as well, and this one was shown to me by Gabby, my good friend Gabby. And it's actually so easy to do, but I feel like it enhances so much of your window. So let's say we have a normal sized window, and then we have a stretched window that we resize. If you go to structural and you go to the beams, you take the thin square beam, custom placement. So my placement right now is on medium. I'm going to put it on small. If you have a resized window like that, you can actually go in the middle and take that thin beam, drag it up. Same thing over here, take that thin beam and drag it up. And then if you paint your window in a normal looking color, as you can see, it makes your resized window just look so much better. I didn't place them in the middle though, I messed up, but yeah, that was just something I wanted to show you. Very simple to do, although sometimes it glitches out. Like for some weird reason right here I cannot do it. As you can see, it does not want to go in the middle. So yeah, sometimes it's really hard to do, but if you resize the window a little bit, it's definitely doable. And yeah, it's clonable as well, so it's very easy to make. Then moving on to number 11, it still has to do with windows and curtains, so we're going back to the curtains, but this one is super easy to make and you only need 2 structurals for it. You take the traditional molding, go from one edge of your window to the other edge, and then under that, so you have that, and then you take out a transparent small beam, go to the bottom of that window, and you want to go in the middle of the bottom side of that structural that you just placed. It's really hard to explain. And then same thing over here, and we're gonna paste that. Now as you can see, I actually messed up. We needed to go to the corners, so again, doing that again, going into the corner on the other side as well. There we go. And we're gonna drag that down. We're resizing that beam and we're gonna be dragging that down a little bit. Something like this. Now, if you paint this in a softer material, for example, the sand and then flint, and then this could be any type of material basically, but I'm looking for one specific one. So for example, these vertical stripes, and you go up to your window, it actually does look like just a normal kitchen curtain. As you can see, it's just very cozy overall. I did mess something up. I'm gonna have to go to my other build. Okay, I see what I did in my other build. So to make it not glitch out, I actually put the transparent small beam not at the edges, but more inwards a little bit so that it looks like a normal curtain. But this is what it looks like in my finished kitchen. Just looks like normal curtains, and it's just easy and fun to do, and I think it's perfect for like country kitchens in a way. Anyways, moving on to number 12, another very easy one to make. You take a wall, you go into windows, and you take this arched opening, place this arched opening about in the middle of the door, depending on where you want it to go, and then you drag that outwards. I think this is about tall enough, and then you move it as close to the floor as you can. This is a custom arched door if you wanted to create that. And then number 13, and we're moving on to the grass plant, or the grass plant at least. And this one, very popular. You can take basically any pot that you want. It just has to be big enough. So I'm gonna take out the cube planter. Placement grid large, very important. Go into garden, take out your grasses. I'm gonna take 1, 2, 3 tall grasses, and I'm gonna take 1, 2, 3 short grasses. Gonna rotate all of them in a different direction. Then placement grid small, you want to resize all of them a little bit, depending on how tall you want your plant to be, of course. Then playing around with some different colors. There we go. You wanna go back to placement grid large, and you wanna take each of the grasses that you just placed, and on placement grid large, you wanna move them into the pot. Sometimes it's really hard to do, but if you keep your mouse at the bottom of the pot, you can actually do it really easily and just move your plants into the pot that you have made. And there you go, you have your own custom plant. I think that looks amazing, and it's clonable, so you can clone it. It's $500, so it's not too expensive, and you basically have just made your own custom plant. Now, these are 13 relatively easy basic shape furniture hacks that I wanted to show you, so that if you want to get into basic shapes, or you do work with basic shapes but you needed some guiding or some help, I hope this video helped you and you learned something new with all of this. But as you can see, I do mess up myself quite a bit. I'm not the greatest with basic shapes. I'm still learning, but these are some things that I have learned along the way, and some friends have taught me as well, and I think those are like really easy starter things that you can do. And finishing a basic shape build is just something that is so satisfying, and something that you can look at for hours, just being proud of yourself, I guess. And yeah, just have fun with them, I guess. And I used to hate them, but now I kind of love them, and I just love creating my own thing. So anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. I hope this helped you. If you know any other hacks, let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button, and please subscribe.